Yay. So, there is great importance to understand things deeply when it comes to your personal or professional growth. In society, for some reason, we like to separate personal from professional, but I would say that our work life has a great significance to the personal lessons that we're learning on a soul level in this school we call Earth. So, narcissistic abuse. Very important. Sorry. Narcissistic abuse has a huge role in blocking the personal and professional growth of humans. And how this how this is done is through control. Control. When narcissists control you, they destabilize your nervous system and block your ability to learn. Then they take that version of you and they use that as evidence that there's something wrong with you. So another way to put it would be that narcissists sabotage you through control, then take that sabotage version of you to convince you that there's something wrong with you. And the whole goal of this is to coerce you into descending your consciousness into becoming a narcissist yourself. I've said on this channel once that narcissists thrive in numbers. I want to correct that and say that narcissists survive in numbers. When they convince you that there's something wrong with you, a cycle begins. The cycle of karma. And if you descend further into that cycle, you come into narcissistic consciousness. In Buddhism, this is called the wheel of samsara, the wheel of suffering. And so back to the original topic. There is a huge importance to actually truly understand things to grow. And one part of how the brain processes learning is through understanding, right? So when we don't understand why we're supposed to do a task and why a task is done, it's harder for the brain to remember and create those mental pathways that say hey, I do this because of this, and then this links to this, and then everything's clear, and I can become better at something, right? But to a narcissist's competitive nature, the way that they get to where they are is through lying, deceit, and putting others down. So in a professional context, like a workplace context, they didn't get their position by actually learning how to do the job well and actually doing a good job. They did it by stepping on others. And so when they train you, or when they come into contact with you, they're going to step on you. And how they do this is through control. So what this looks like is they'll correct you before you can self-correct. Or they will give you information that in a way that's impossible for the human mind to work. Or they will disrupt your focus, and then it makes you look like you're slow. All these little tactics that sabotage you is a form of control. And how this is control is interesting, because when we think of control, we often think of you do this for me, or threatening someone, or forcing someone to do something. But control actually exists within your reactions and your responses. Technically, a response isn't control, but I won't go to that. So your reactions are how you are controlled. So a reaction to a narcissist's behavior when they're sabotaging you would be to think that there's something wrong with you and blame yourself for their sabotage. That is how they control you. And then they're in control because when you think there's something wrong with you and you blame yourself, they keep their image alive. They keep their role in the workplace. They keep their authority. And they successfully put you down to keep them up, right? So that is how narcissists and abusers control you. It has to do with how you react to them. And so you'll find that narcissists often withhold information, key information, and understanding from you because there's a sort of power that comes from understanding, right? Growth is power. A lot of people say that knowledge is power, but really, in my opinion, understanding is power. How you get to knowledge is through understanding, right? And there's a power in knowing. You have power when you know, right? When you understand how a workplace works, the narcissist cannot give you unreasonable, silly demands because you have knowledge. You understand when things are unreasonable. And if everyone understood when things are unreasonable, then the narcissist would lose their power because their power is dependent on you not having power. So is that power? Nah, it's not. But it's an illusion of power, right? That's the only way that they can feel some sense of power, right? Is by getting others to pretend they don't have power so that they can pretend that they do have power. And that's the whole narcissist control. Make people pretend while I pretend. And if we all live in pretend, then narcissists can do whatever they want. But as soon as people live in truth, narcissists lose their power because you have to be in pretend with them. And I use a lot of terms for the same thing on this channel. When I'm saying pretend, I'm talking about illusions, right? Fantasies. The fantasy that you're powerless. Because come on, you know you're powerful. The fantasy that the illusion is powerful. I mean, the fantasy that the narcissist is powerful. No. Okay. Okay, I'm not hating on narcissists because there's no hate in this heart, but we can silly funny for a little bit. But yeah, what's the topic of this video? Understanding. Understanding. You have power when you understand things because then people can't use you and do whatever you want with you. Especially understanding yourself, bro. Especially understanding yourself, right? Because when you know that you're awesome, when you know what you're worth, when you know how freaking amazing and smart you are, like, listen, dude, listen. We're all intelligent. We all can be. We all have gifts. Like, it pains me to see how many people on this planet are like, who are never allowed to shine because they have narcissists all up in them, convincing them that there's something wrong with them. Well, there's actually nothing wrong with them. They cause it all. They cause it all. They destabilize you. They sabotage you. And then it makes you think that you're bad. And then you're not bad, but you stay bad because, or you're like, you're not bad at something, but you stay bad at something because you've never been given the chance to get good at it. Ooh. You're not bad at something, but you stay bad at it because you're never given the chance to get good at it. It's awful. It's awful, you know, and it's sad, right? And I know this was about personal growth as well. In and of itself, the belief that there's nothing wrong with you is conditioned in childhood for many of us. And that belief is what blocks our ability to learn, right? Because if you truly believe that there's, if you truly believe that there's something wrong with you, hold on, I gotta move locations. Okay, sorry, that place was giving me the heebie-jeebies. Okay, so when we start to believe that there's something wrong with us, we start solving problems that we don't have. And then it's all like this big fucking distraction from our soul's evolution. Like, we not only do narcissists break your focus like in the physical realm, like I'll give you a good example of this. Like when you're trying to learn something complex, they jump in and correct you constantly, and that breaks your focus. So it affects your brain's ability to create the neural pathways that allow you to get better at that thing. Not only do they break your focus on this physical level, they break your focus on a spiritual level by distracting you from the reason why you came here, which is to grow and to evolve, right? And how they do this is through beliefs, like there's something wrong with you. When you believe something's wrong with you, we now think we have a problem that we don't have, and that distracts us from the actual problem, which is that there's something in our environment, some sort of energy that is sabotaging us. And through understanding, we can evolve, right? When we understand ourselves, we recognize that there's nothing actually wrong with us. That the things that we were told were true about ourselves, others in the world, may not actually be true. And through that understanding, we become seen. We activate our light, right? To see oneself clearly is to bring light to the self, to the energy body. And understanding is how we do that. Because one thing about narcissists is that they don't want to be seen. They avoid themselves. But, you know, we're working with levels of consciousness here. So anyone can be in the narcissistic consciousness, anyone can be in the enlightened consciousness, right? The difference is the level of evolution and how much you see, how much light you carry. And this light comes from understanding, learning, expansion. That's how you increase your light. How much you understand yourself. So, understanding is extremely important in growth. And don't let people convince you that you should be... Here, let's go into this. So, it's also a sort of thing about perfectionism with narcissists, is they have very high expectations, right? Like, you should be this perfect being that can perform and do well and be regulated no matter what's going on around you. And it's not realistic, right? We have needs, right? We're not supposed to be superhuman. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for surpassing limitations. But the surpassing of limitations comes from honoring one's needs, such as understanding. So, love you.